Hello everybody, it's KanaManga, and today we are here at the Art of Manga Exhibit here at the De Young Museum. We are here at Golden Gate Park. This is a limited time exhibit. This is the first day, it is opening day. We're excited to go ahead and see what kind of art they're going to be presenting. There are 8 featured artists here, as well as a few surprises that we didn't know about until we actually got here. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and head inside, and yeah, let's go ahead and check it out. As we entered into the De Young Museum and got our tickets, I wanted to take a little bit of time to tell you about how I found out about this exhibit. As a manga collector, I take trips to Kinokuniya, located in San Francisco's Japantown, to pick up the latest volumes for my collection. During the Japanese Cherry Blossom Festival back in April, the store started to promote the Art of Manga exhibit. There was an early pre-sale promotion, so I ended up pre-ordering my tickets that night, and now we are here for opening day. Little did I know that this is the first ever manga exhibit to be opened in North America. I was lucky enough to have experienced it in person, and that it just so happened to be open close to where I live. And if you guys want to experience the Art of Manga exhibit for yourself, the exhibit runs from now until January 25th in San Francisco. So just a quick disclosure before we go ahead and hop into the exhibit, I will not be showing you guys all of the art in the exhibit. I am just hoping to give you enough context and information to convince you to go for yourself. I just want to let you guys know that there is a lot more to explore if you do happen to come in person, so feel free to check out all of these things in person. It's way cooler, and my camera cannot do it justice. Also, another quick aside, I am not sponsored by the museum or Viz Media to talk about the exhibit, so everything is just of my opinion and things that I learned while going through the exhibit. So without further ado, let's go ahead and hop into the actual first room. So as we enter into the first room, I realized that this is a great introduction into the world of manga. The first thing that I noticed is that there is manga terminology posted all around the top of the room in order to help guests understand some of these terms that we are so used to seeing. On top of that, there was a projection of how to read manga and the proper direction and flow of the panels. This was super important, especially for a Western audience, to tell them that we are actually moving from right to left rather than their traditional left to right. So the first mangaka that was featured in the exhibit is Chiba Tetsuya. Chiba Tetsuya is known for creating Ashita no Joe, or Tomorrow's Joe in English. It is a manga that follows a boxer throughout his career. So also sharing this first room is Akatsuka Fujio. He is the king of gag manga and best known for Osomatsu-san. The one thing that I wanted to point out with his exhibit is that his character Beshi kind of acts as the mascot for this exhibit. So if you do see this little frog guy kind of popping up around the entire exhibit, it is because he is there to guide guests throughout the experience. The next room of the exhibit focused in on Takahashi Rumiko, who is known for Ranma Half, Urusei Yatsura, and Inuyasha, just to name a few. The cool thing that I liked about her exhibit is that there were a lot of color panels and illustrations that would eventually turn into the cover arts for a lot of her manga that you get later down the line. For example, we have one here from Inuyasha, but there's a lot of them from Mao as well, which is her latest work. The other thing that I didn't really notice until I was actually in the exhibit is that Takahashi Rumiko has a huge focus on yokai, spirits, and folklore of Japan that she kind of weaves into her manga. It's a really cool way of being able to take a step back from all of her series and find this underlying theme that she likes to keep throughout her series. As we move through the exhibit, the next mangaka is Tanaguchi Jiro. He is known for doing Walking Man, Summit of the Gods, and Solitary Gourmet. The thing that I noticed with his art is that it really focuses in on individual exploration while having extreme detail in a lot of very specific shots. For example, this bowl of food has so much detail in it that it is insane. Just a quick side note here, there are more art pieces by other mangaka in this exhibit that were not created by the 8 featured mangaka. I will be omitting all of these pieces from this video. That way exhibit goers have something to see for themselves and can be surprised when they see art from their favorite mangaka. I highly recommend just trying to navigate your way through and being surprised as you turn the corner to maybe see somebody who you weren't expecting to see. As we continue through the exhibit, the next mangaka is Yamazaki Mari. She is known for creating Therma Rome and Plintvis, but the one manga that surprised me that I didn't know that she made was a manga about Steve Jobs. It talks about the rise of Apple and the technological growth that they contributed to. The thing is that at this exhibit, they had not only the raw panels of how things went from sketches to the final draft, but they also showed the same process for the cover, which I thought was really, really cool. As we pass through these projected arches, we make our way to one of the most recognizable mangaka in the industry. Araki Hirohiko, who is known for creating JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, had one of the biggest sections of this exhibit. The first thing that I wanted to mention is that he has art from every single part of JoJo so far. It was definitely a really cool range to see all of your favorite characters again, but to also see the original drawings of these specific pictures. They also had art from Rohan Kishibe, along with some pen nibs, which is very on character for Rohan. They also had full art pieces that were featured in art books such as JoJo 6251, as well as JoJo A Go-Go. I highly recommend checking these pieces out and taking your time here. This is going to be the most busy part of the entire exhibit. As we turn the corner, we take a peek at Yamashita Kazumi. She created this series called Land, and the thing that I wanted to point out with her art is that there is a crazy amount of detail in terms of the animals that she presents in her manga. Going into this one, I didn't know too much about Yamashita Kazumi, but we found out that Land is actually her latest series, and it's been recently published by Yen Press. Moving on to our next mangaka, we focus in on Tagame Gengoroh, who is known for My Brother's Husband. He is credited for bringing a lot of LGBTQ+ issues into Japan's mainstream media through some of the manga that he has created. The thing that I wanted to point out is that he had excellent colors and composition, as well as a lot of really deep themes, even though they may come off as explicit. It is really cool to also see some of the sketch panels that he had. It is just a cool way of seeing the process from start to finish. As we turn the corner, our next mangaka is Yoshinaga Fumi, who is known for Ooku, the Inner Chambers. The thing that I wanted to point out with her art is the dark markers that were used to add a lot of weight in terms of atmosphere. You can still see some of the marker lines in the original print, but it creates a sense of depth, which is insane to see on physical panels. As we head into our final mangaka of the Art of Manga exhibit, we just so happen to stumble across one of the largest mangaka in the Shonen Jump space, and that just so happens to be Oda Eiichiro of One Piece. The thing that I knew going into this is that One Piece is the longest running Shonen Jump series of all time. The thing that I learned while being at the exhibit, however, is that One Piece started in 1997 and has been continuing to publish chapters to this day. That makes One Piece 28 years old and counting. So it is kind of insane to know that this series is still continuing and still producing amazing art to this day. Even though I personally haven't gone through all of One Piece myself, I'm working on it, don't worry. I thought that this entire exhibit was just really cool to see the storied history of One Piece be kind of immortalized and on display here was really cool to see as a manga fan, knowing that series can last this long and have this much of an impact. The other thing to mention here is that there is another exhibit that is tied to this that we will get to closer to the end of the video. The final artist of the Art of Manga exhibit wasn't even a mangaka at all. Tanaami Keiichi was a graphic designer from Japan that had a very specific look in terms of psychedelic and glitched styles to his art pieces. We got to see that in his two pieces that he had present here, both the kimonos, which we have in black and in red, as well as this series of art panels of a girl who gets more and more distorted as you head from left to right. This specific style was super interesting to see and was a crazy juxtaposition compared to all of the other mangaka that we saw previously. As you exit out of the Art of Manga exhibit, it leads you straight into the gift shop, which highlighted all of the 8 artists who were featured inside of the exhibit and allows you to purchase the manga for yourself if you guys wanted to take it home to read on your own. The other cool things is that they had an art book and a merch line for the Art of Manga exhibit if you wanted a quick souvenir or something to take home as well. If you guys cannot make it to the exhibit, Viz Media will be selling the art book at the end of November, but if you happen to go to the museum in person, it is available at the De Young Museum gift shop. Along with the gift shop, there was also a gachapon wall that was presented by Bandai Namco, so if you wanted to roll for a gacha, you had the option to do that at the actual event, and maybe take home a small souvenir as well. Another small thing that I wanted to mention that was kind of tucked away was that there was a manga library that was presented by Kinokuniya. It showcased all of the manga from the featured artists, so if you wanted to take a peek at it and hold the books in person, Kinokuniya had a small library for you to check out. So do you remember at the start of the video that I mentioned that there is another installment on top of the Art of Manga exhibit? Well, that was the One Piece only How Manga is Made exhibit. And this was completely free and included with the Art of Manga exhibit admission. So it was just a cool little add-on to see specific things that had to do with the printing process for Shonen Jump magazine and Tankobon original volumes of One Piece. The cool thing about it is that they were actually showing 2 videos or 2 full movies in there to show how the process is done, going all the way from the original sketches to creating prints, and then also how they print more volumes of the manga and certain sections that are dedicated to different machines, which is really cool to see. And in order to see what these prints finally looked like as well, they put a bunch of One Piece panels from the original tankobons out on the wall for you guys to check out. It was cool to be in there, not only to see, once again, the legacy of One Piece, but also to see the printing process for Shonen Jump magazine and how they do this every single week to keep up with the publication. Another thing that I forgot to mention is that there are official cosplay days that are organized by the Art of Manga exhibit itself. So if you wanted to show support for some of the artists that are featured in the Art of Manga exhibit and want to cosplay with other people who want to show their support as well, those cosplay dates are on September 27th, which was the opening day, which I went to, October 25th, which is a little bit closer to Halloween, and December 6th will be the final day for the organized cosplay meets. There are other days that are unofficial that if you guys wanted to just go and cosplay, feel free to go ahead and do so. Most of the cosplayers that I saw were in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure cosplay, but we did see a Frieren and a Fern, as well as one Luffy, I think. But yeah, overall, just a really cool way of meeting other cosplayers and showing your support for the specific mangaka. With the rise of popularity of anime and manga, I hope that more manga art from our favorite series can be showcased in an exhibit for the public. This is the first time that manga art has been on display in North America, so it was super cool to be one of the first to showcase the experience. It shows that the Art of Manga is for anyone who is willing to explore the medium and allow people to get a glimpse into the art, stories, and themes that these mangaka create. I hope that this opens more doors for manga art to make its way to museums around the world. And who knows, maybe other mangaka and other publishers might want to get in on it as well. If you do have the time to check out the exhibit in person, tickets for the Art of Manga exhibit can be found at the De Young Museum website or in the description below. This exhibit runs from now until January 25th of 2026, so get your tickets before the exhibit goes away forever. Once again, thank you guys for checking out the video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys on the next one.